You're probably not using ChatGPT to its full potential because it can connect up to any type of MCP server, and pretty much everyone is doing this right now. With MCP, ChatGPT can do things like check your calendar, view upcoming events and emails, and even trigger automatic tasks on your behalf. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up MCP on OpenAI's platform so you can connect up any one of your apps or services directly to ChatGPT. As part of this video, I want to set up 3 core examples for you to immediately use with OpenAI as part of your day-to-day actions. This will include how to set up OpenAI to read and reply to your emails, how to have OpenAI view your calendar and set events, and finally how to automate tasks, such as inside of Notion. I'll begin here on the OpenAI website, where I'm going to log into ChatGPT and select apps from the left menu. This used to be called connectors, and connectors are essentially MCP inside of OpenAI, but we're going to create our own connector. In order to do this, we'll select your username on the bottom left and select settings. Under settings, we'll head over to apps, and then we'll need to head over to advanced settings. Inside of here, we'll enable developer mode, and from here we can create our own custom MCP connection through a new app. We're gonna need an MCP server to connect to, so let's create that now. I'll be using Zapier for the MCP server, since it allows me to connect up to all my apps through a single MCP connection, which is pretty useful. Use the MCP link I've added in the description, or just sign up if you don't have an account. This part's pretty easy. We're gonna select to create a new MCP server and select ChatGPT as the one we'll use. Now we need to add some tools for this MCP server to provide. I'm going to give it access to my Gmail, specifically the ability to find emails from my inbox. I'll select to connect this, and this is one of the tools that ChatGPT will now have access to. I can add other apps and tools in here, but for the time being, I'm going to leave it to this one so we can test out. Zapier does have instructions like making sure you're in developer mode in ChatGPT to start using it, and some additional ones on how to get it up and running. Let's copy over the MCP link here and paste it into our MCP server URL. After that, make sure you copy this line of description word from word, as it's what ChatGPT will use to reference and utilize tools. I'll name this app Zapier MCP. I'll also download Zapier's logo and attach it here as an icon so it's easy to identify from a list. There's one more section here for authentication, and this is a section that I'm going to leave blank since we're going to connect up the authentication later when the connection is made. Finally, select I understand and want to continue and create the MCP connection. I'll be redirected to this page over here, which will allow us to select to confirm this connection, and once this is done, it's going to create all the tokens in the backend to allow us to access Zapier directly inside of ChatGPT. You can see this was successfully made with the tools available now to test if MCP is working on OpenAI. Let's ask ChatGPT to pull up my latest email. What I'm gonna do is connect up the Zapier MCP tool to the current chat dialog. If you want to see what's happening behind the hood, you can always select this button here and it shows you the tools that are being called by OpenAI. In this case, the tool has just finished calling and it's identified the most recent email is called testing MCP is working, which was sent just a couple of minutes ago. If I head over here to my mailbox, you can see that email just sitting here as the most recent email. Now, to configure OpenAI's API platform to use MCP servers. This process is actually pretty easy. First, you'll need to head over to the dashboard page, and from here, we'll want to create a new chat dialog. We'll start off with a chat and later on work on agents. Inside of our new prompt here, we have access to tools. We've got a few different ones, but we'll select MCP server to kick things off. We have some pre-made OpenAI connectors here, as well as ones for third parties. I'm going to select the one here from Zapier, and this time, instead of going through the process we did before, we simply select this link over here to get an API key, and it goes ahead and creates an MCP server directly with the configuration we need. All I need to do now is add some tools. This time, instead of adding in emails as our MCP tool, instead I'm going to select and create a calendar connection. This way, ChatGPT has access to let me know if there are any events coming up, as well as being able to identify what those are. With that done, all I have to do is set up the configuration. Heading over to Connect, I'll need to generate an API token, which I can do over here. Make sure that you keep this secure, as it is the token that lets you read and write from Zapier to OpenAI, but other other parties could get access to that if it leaks. With this secure token copied to my clipboard, I'm going to paste it right in here for the MCP server, and OpenAI will take care of the rest of the configuration. That's now established, and it's got access to all those tool calls, which is great. Let's add those into the current prompt and test if they work by asking ChatGPT if I've got any upcoming events. Since we're in the OpenAI API platform, we'll need to approve tool call requests since it's a little bit more developer focused. But here it's done that. I used Zapier's connections to pull up my calendar and identified that I currently don't have any upcoming events happening. Now let's have a look at how to connect OpenAI's new agent builder to an MCP server. First, head to Agent Builder on the left-hand menu. Then, if you haven't created a workflow just yet, create a brand new one as a blank template. Here we have the option to add in tools, including an MCP server, but we're going to connect it directly to the agent as this is the easiest way to get it up and running. Select your agent, and then on the right-hand side, select the plus next to tools. Here we can select an MCP server, and we have that familiar list from last time. I'm going to select the Zapier example once more, and we're going to need to generate a new API key for the agent itself. Here, it's going to automatically do that for us inside of Zapier. I'm going to select a new tool to connect it to this time. I'll connect it to Notion since I've got a lot of documentation for projects I work on inside of Notion, so I think it'd be useful for OpenAI to have all that data. I'll select all the tool calls available inside of Notion since Notion actually is quite complex when it comes to different types of blocks for data, pages, and databases. Then I'll head over to Connections and generate a new token for OpenAI to use for this specific MCP server. I'll select to copy that token, and heading back to OpenAI's platform here, I'll paste that token here into the agent builder. You can see it establishing that connection, and now this agent has access to all those tool calls. Let's test out that this is actually working. At the very top here, let's go from edit mode to play mode. I'll ask this agent to explain to me what Axle design is. This is hidden inside of my Notion documents, so hopefully it can pull up the specific page and then the description of that page to tell me exactly what it is. And here's that response. Axle design is a no-code type of AI website designer, and it's very similar to things like Framer, Figma, or Webflow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and a big thanks to Zapier for sponsoring it. If you want to learn more about Zapier or even MCP, check out the links in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.